I'm really sorry, but I really want to make one last little Christmassy house before it's too late. The one that I did a couple weeks ago was kind of a disaster. It was like a failed version of Santa's workshop. So today I want to go for something a little bit more subtle. You know, like a wintry cottage that's also slightly decorated for Christmas. Basically not something that appears to be inhabited by Santa Claus himself, and more something that like a normal person would live in. So instead of the North Pole, we're going for Windenburg, although I would like for it to be a lot snowier than this. So I think I'm gonna switch the seasons a little here. I just used a mod called UI Cheats extension to change the weather, and now I'm gonna wait for the snow to get heavy enough to cover the roof. Although maybe you two should go inside. Yeah, okay. Don't really want you to die. That would kind of put a damper on the video. Should I go for a blizzard instead? Oh yeah. Okay, why did they come outside? As soon as I cheated it to be a blizzard, they walked out. I feel like it's sufficiently snowy now, so I'm gonna switch it back to just freezing, and I think we can build. I also have to bulldoze your house, and I'm so sorry because it really does look beautiful right now, but I'm gonna try something else. Look at the world in the morning light. I'm also sorry to just leave you two like standing here in the snow, but you'll be fine. And I kind of want to build like a more cottagey vibe. I know we're in Windenburg and not Henford on Bagley, but I really love how this sort of house looks. You won't be able to see the roof texture that much because of the snow, but I feel like that's fine. I'm actually kind of curious how the roof accents will look with snow on top of them, so I'm gonna try. One of the downsides of building in the snow is that you can't really see the roof at all. Like when I paint this, you just won't know. There's no difference. So I'm kind of curious what these will look like, because I actually feel like that's kind of nice. It adds some texture, but it's still, you know, completely snowy. I'm gonna use those. Do these dormers look, oh no. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Never mind. Sorry, I really did try, but that looks terrible and is not what I want at all. I really don't love that. I do really like how that looks though. That's gonna add some like very much needed texture to the roof. Okay, new question. What sort of shape are we going for? I kind of wanted this to be tall, but I feel like the roof looks a bit weird when it's tall like that. I mean, this doesn't even want to place at all, and then it's like, you know, floating because it doesn't fit. Okay, I think I might try and make it a little bit wider so that we can have a fake upstairs. Oh God, why do you do that? Is it gonna do that no matter what? Because I did the roof like this? That's so annoying. I don't know if it's fixable. Like, no matter where I put the roof, it's gonna look like that? Okay, well, we're not gonna have an upstairs. I changed my mind. When I last tried to build a house like this, I also noticed that the roof, this is gonna upset you, so I'm really sorry, but I also noticed that when you put a roof like on the roof, it causes some problems. Like you can see down here, because it's not as snowy since it's under a bit of cover. Definitely not my favorite thing, but it's okay because I think we can still work with it. Oh, that chimney looks really good up there. I think I'm gonna use that. Now, I know we had talked about putting like a sort of thatched roof on this. I'm a little worried about how the thatched, yeah. That was my concern, was like the thatched trim. Because the trim is not white. The trim does not look snowy. I wonder if we just put like a white trim. This is gonna look terrible in the summertime because obviously it's not the same as the roof, but I wonder if we did that anyway so it looks like the trim is covered in snow. Okay, how weird is it to have the roof and the chimney lined up like that? I can't tell. I'm just gonna keep going and we'll revisit it afterward. If we decide that it's terrible, we can just get rid of it. No, you can't be serious. I can't put that there. If I move this, can I put it there? Okay, I just need to place it and then like put the roof back, which is kind of weird, but that works. Maybe we could do a really light brick color, something like this on the main building. I can't tell if I like this part being here. I almost want to try and make it taller and then just have the fancy roof on the side of the building. I kind of feel like that might look a little bit better. Oh no, how did that get messed up? These roof pieces are so weird. They like move on their own. All right, stay. I'm thinking the shape of this house is good though. I don't really know what to put in the yard, if I'm being honest. I guess just some nice big trees. Make it look like it's all snowy and stuff. But we don't need to have like, you know, a patio or something because no one's gonna be using it. We've got some really interesting doors that I don't really use all that often. I wonder if we could try a slightly different one as the front door. Like that one is really nice. It's simple. It has a little glass that looks all frosty. I've tried a few different window options. I don't really know which one I want to use. I think that the cottage living windows maybe make the most sense. but I also feel like they might be a little bit too small and they're kind of lacking in variance. Like we don't have as many size options as I'd like to have. And for example, this one is always open. And do I really want to have that window open in the snow? I mean, maybe, but also like maybe not. Okay, you know what? These university windows might be perfect. I really like how that looks. I'm really enjoying the little details on it. I feel like that kind of matches with the little details on the columns and on the door, and they're all from different packs. This door's Realm of Magic, this window is from University, the column is Cottage Living, so that's kind of nice. I think I want to have some sort of little patio space on the side, or at least like a door on the outside, but also this lot is kind of small and there's not really a ton of space for it. I think this is okay. We might have to scoot this whole thing forward 1 or 2 tiles. I always hate this, how the stairs mess with the foundation. I'm just gonna ignore that. I'm gonna focus on adding in some landscaping now, and we want to be kind of careful about what we're doing. We want stuff that looks cute in the winter time. Like this is kind of cute, but only when it's covered in snow, because when it gets up here, it looks terrible. Or like this bush, for example, just some twigs. Same with this, also just twigs. This is almost like, it's too white. The whole thing is too white. I need to pick a different color brick maybe. Or even one that has a little bit more texture, I guess. Because it just looked like a plain flat wall. I do kind of like this brick. I worry that it doesn't match the chimney enough, or if I should do something more to have like some more of that red color. There's some really nice reddish brick, but I don't know if I want to use it. Okay, you know what? We can always change the color, but I think for now, I just want to get a few plants in. We'll get a better feel that way for like what's weird and what needs to change. Some of these plants have such interesting different shades. This one has way more texture when it's covered in snow. This is just like a white blob. Should I try and do like a size down thing with the bushes instead? Oh no. This one doesn't do anything in the snow. Or does it? Oh, it does. It's just covered. Oh, because of the overhang. I was like, that is not good. No, it does something in the snow, but it's not as obvious. There is a stone path here. I know you can't tell, but I promise I did put a path. I feel like this is probably good for the entire exterior. I really do like how the windows look. I still feel like it's maybe a little too bland, but I kind of like that about it, so I don't know. I also want to quickly make sure the whole roof is all painted the same color. I can't tell, so I'm just gonna click them all a few times just to be safe. And now we gotta think floor plan. So I think I'd like to have the interior of this be a little bit more cozy than the exterior. Like I want to have a lot of warm wood tones. I'd also like to have 2 bedrooms, but I am not entirely sure that's actually going to happen. I mean, I suppose it's possible, but it is a little bit tight in this house. I wonder if we could have this be a bathroom, like a really big bathroom, or is that weird? I don't know where to put the bathroom. Could I do it like that? No, probably not. What if the bathroom was here? But then this is like so long and skinny. Okay, this is harder than I thought it was gonna be. Here's what I've come up with now. So I'm thinking we could use this as like a hallway, because then I can put an arch into it, and then I can use doors into the bedrooms. We'll have some nice simple bedroom doors and then 2 arches. This room could be like an office or potentially a formal dining room. I'm not sure if it's like too out of the way. We'll see how much we can manage to fit in this area. And then this room will be a living room. It's a little bit tight, but I also think that's okay because we're going for like small space. I guess this could be the kitchen and dining space, and then we can do a little bathroom right there. We can maybe even put tile in the kitchen just to kind of separate it a little bit more. Oh, maybe I'll put walls. You know what? I think it's okay if it's really small. I feel like in a house like this, small is almost good. I guess the living space is like really small. Maybe I don't have to have like the separate hallway, and we can try and do it like this just to give ourselves a little bit more space in the dining room. I think these bedrooms are still okay if they're a bit smaller. I think I like this better because then there's a little bit more room to walk around. Oh no, I want to put some decor, but I feel like that might be a little bit too stark. Unless I guess it being stark is a good thing because there's not really a lot of color out here. We'll have to size down the tree probably too because that's really small. Maybe I could use this wreath. I do really like this wreath. And then maybe we could just do like a couple of the reindeer in the yard. So like really, really simple, just a little bit of hints of red decor. This tree looks enormous. We need to make it a bit smaller. Let me see how far I can put it into the wall without it clipping. Oh, I can make it go pretty far. It can be like there. I did really want a fireplace, but that is kind of large. That is kind of big. In fact, I think all of the fireplaces are kind of enormous. We can maybe use this one. I don't think that's too bad. And there can be a couch back here. It doesn't have to be a big living room. It can be really cozy and tight in there. I feel so weird building this with just like the Sims kind of standing around in the middle of the space. Like, oops, don't mind me. Let me just put a couch right on top of you. Sorry. I think I might have tried like every single rug variant in this entire game. I really don't know what to use. I guess I'm kind of struggling with like how to fit a full living space into this tiny, tiny room. Because for example, I really want a nice big chair, but I think with this giant couch, it won't work. I do love the couch. It's just so big. See, if we had a too wide couch, we could put the chair like in the corner somehow, and that leaves some space over here for some more furniture. So this just feels a little bit better. A lot of the too wide couches kind of suck though. I don't really like any of them. I don't mean that I don't like them, because a lot of them are really cute. They're just not really what we need for this space. Okay, I don't really love how that looks, but I wonder if I could make it work in here. It's just like so brown. I can't. I liked the other couch too much. I loved the color. It couldn't be beat. We can use this chair in the dining room or something. It'll be fine. Hopefully I can find a cuter rug too. I've really struggled with rug selection recently because I feel like at this point, I've seriously used every rug in this game like 3 times at least. Do you think I could line up some little holly down the center of the table or something? I think there's a light. Yeah, look. There's one that has candles. Should I use the candles all the way across the center of the table? I'm not entirely sure if the Sims will still sit there. Like, I don't know if they can eat at the table like that, but I like it. Oh, maybe these chairs would be better. No. Actually, I don't like that color scheme. Never mind. Use the cats and dogs ones. I sort of like that painting. I like how it has a little red barn in it because it kind of ties in some of the red from like the rug and like the berries. Is that subtle Christmas? Is that like what I'm going for? Does this feel like subtle Christmas to you? Is that kind of like getting the point across? Oh, we need a thermostat too. I might put that over here in this little hallway section. It's a bit cold outside, so we're gonna need that. I'm jumping around too much. I need to make sure I finish decorating this room. I feel like it might be kind of cute to have some cards. My grandma always puts Christmas cards on the mantle. This mirror seems like a pretty good size for the mantle too, so maybe I'll put that there. And then what if we got something like decorative but not Christmassy? Oh, unless we swapped it and put like the tea set on the coffee table and then maybe this up here. But maybe that's too much greenery. Let's try and put something simple, like the bunny or something. The little bunny is blue. It kind of matches the couch and the curtain. I don't know. It does look a little bit weird, but I do kind of like it. I'm not sure if I should scoot this rug back at all, because I'm trying to make sure there's like plenty of walking space. We can get a little plant. And I wonder if we could put a little tiny side table. Okay, maybe not that one. That looks silly. But like one of the other side tables might size down a little bit better. Even if we did this one and put it like horizontal like this. And then I think I might put a lamp there. My grandma's house is full of lamps. Lamps everywhere. Although I think that the 2 of them look weird together. So maybe not. Maybe just one. Should I have nothing on this side of the couch? I'm really struggling with the door placement in here. I wonder if we got like a smaller chair, because I do like the idea of an accent chair, but I can acknowledge the chair that I was trying to use before was enormous. That's probably still weird, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think so. Let's just leave it. I love this like teal color on the cabinets, but I do not love the color of the countertop. So I'm kind of struggling with that. I feel like we have to change the walls if we're gonna do that. I could probably just put like some plain tile though, like any simple tile, maybe a smaller one. We could definitely get away with just a plain stacked white tile in there, especially if we put like a bunch of cabinets up. I mean, we could also get rid of the floor tile. I'm not really sure if the wood clashes too much if we do it like this. Oh no. Why are you doing that? Okay, well, maybe I can alt place it. I think this looks nice. And then we can do the little stove right there. Unfortunately, the windows are kind of gonna get blocked by our appliances, but maybe that's okay. We'll do the sink back there. I think I like the shape of this kitchen a lot. We definitely need to warm it up a little, like maybe with some little curtain pieces and stuff. Also, just like general decor, like a little chicken maybe. We could probably store a pot. It's just like a little bit too low. I wonder if I could raise it up. That's floating. Don't do that. Don't do that, Kayla. Maybe I could make this smaller. It can be a really tiny pot, or we could just put it somewhere else and then we don't have to worry about it. Trying to place kitchen clutter can be so annoying sometimes. Oh, look at that. I'm ruining everything. But I like how those look there. Where are the paper towels? Why? Like, what? How do they class these things? They need to go back and like redo everything. Oh my God, so annoying. Because some of the categories they have these things in are so weird. Oh no. I don't like the coffee maker. I can't put it anywhere. They just get mugs. All they're getting is mugs, sorry. And then they can use this counter to cook, so I'll leave that one. Okay, I kind of forgot this was a Christmas house. I didn't put like anything decorative in here. Maybe I could put some little mistletoe stuff above the archway. And I could always do like a wreath above the sink, because that's simple. And maybe I'll leave it. I really am trying to be subtle with this. Here's what I've got for the bathroom so far. I think I might just put like a towel and then maybe leave it. I don't think I'll put like a ridiculous amount of decor in there. This room was gonna be an office or like some sort of study study area. We don't have a TV anywhere, so I'm gonna put a kind of expensive computer in here and maybe some little things like these little tree decor items or something. And then I think in this corner, I might try and make this into like a slight art studio. I wanna get a kind of nicer easel. We can also fit these canvases, which are so beautiful. And then we can give them like a more fun swatch because it adds some more color into here. Oh, they don't really fit in front of the window. Maybe I'll do them smaller. We started off with so much money. How have I spent like all of it already? I've got a real spending problem in The Sims. I will just add and add and add stuff and I won't even look at the price at all. This isn't like a budget house or anything, so it's fine. Oh, you can't be serious. You can't. Why? Why is the ottoman for that like such a different color? Why did they do that? The pattern is like completely different. Oh my God. I'm just gonna leave it. I like this room. I think it's cute. We've got 2 bedrooms left to furnish. I think I'll do a kid's room and then a primary bedroom. I just love this bed. I will take any excuse to use this bed. Is that like too Christmassy, that swatch? I used this bed in the last Christmas house that I built, but I really do like it. And then we can do like this pattern in the kids' room on the wall. That looks like the entire outside. Just white, white and gray. The inside's more colorful at least. There's a lot of teal going on in here. I could probably use this bed and then like a darker bluey kind of teal color for the rug. Maybe not that one. My first pet stuff is a weird one. That kind of works because it brings out the blue in the bed. This room's actually really nice because it's got so many big windows. And thankfully it also has space for a dresser because I was kind of worried I wouldn't be able to fit one in. I wish that we had this dresser without stuff on top, but I'm just gonna use it anyway. In my head, I'm kind of pretending that this sim maybe put like a Christmas bedspread on purpose. They just like swapped out the duvet cover for this time of year. All of the wallpaper is ugly. I want to use like a nice wall, but that looks terrible. I guess I could make it all white. I wonder if I could do like the base game curtains sized up. Why? That one looks different because of the candle. Okay, swap sides. These curtains are white with a little bit of blue at the base. Is that ugly or is it kind of nice? There's not much other red in here, which is kind of a problem. Maybe if the painting had some red. A lot of it is very modern though, which I don't really want. We could do this. I always forget about that one. That's a nice one. Or, I mean, this might work. The violins. You know, I don't think I like this room. It's fine. It's okay. It's not like the nicest, but it works. It also kind of fits the style, so that's all right. We've got to redeem ourselves with this kid's bedroom. I really like this bed, and I think that that kind of matches everything. So I might use that in here. Oh, no. Okay, we can't do the curtains like that. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. I can. Sorry. Maybe we could just have like some plain gray curtains. No, the problem with these curtains when they're sized up is they come so far off the wall, like it's really hung out far away. The regular curtains are a lot tighter to the wall, which makes them a little bit hard to use. Oh my gosh, wait. That color scheme is so good. I don't know if I can use this swatch on the wallpaper. We can't have like 2 checkered patterns in here. There's a version that has little flowers, right? Is it this one? Yes. Okay, that version is perfect. It's got like the right colors to it. And then I'll probably just use a bunch of white furniture in here, like a white nightstand. We can have a white dresser. There's a purple swatch of this little dollhouse, although I can't tell if it's like not the right shade. I think this one's better. This one has the right colors. It's kind of that like periwinkle color almost, like an in-between of purple and blue. So when I'm looking for rugs, I need to kind of filter between both. Between both of those swatches. Sorry, that one was a bit different than I was expecting. Maybe I could use a little cookie rug because the cookie rug could go right underneath the dollhouse. We can get like a little cat stuffed animal. We can put a couple small toys in front of the dollhouse too. I can't really decide what sort of lamp I want to use because I used this one a few places in the house and it's kind of got the right colors. There's not really a lot of purple ones. I guess that one has the right shades of blue in it. Oh, I don't think I've seen this little snowy decal. There's some kind of cute little snowy decals. Maybe I could put that. No, that's random. Why? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. I might use this kind of like navy blue swatch on these paintings, which by the way are slightly different. You might think, oh, they have all the same swatches. No, they don't. Those are slightly different blues. I'm just gonna pretend they're the same and not look at it, but that has always bothered me so much. You know what? I think that room is kind of perfect. I really, really like this house. I think the color scheme is cute. Oh, I didn't do anything up here. There's no way to get up here, so we can just put like some wallpaper. It's a pretend little dormer. But I really really like the interior. It's fun to decorate stuff that's kind of Christmassy. And I promise after this, I won't upload any more Christmassy houses, at least until next year. Christmas cottage. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. It's on the gallery. I warn you though, if you load into this not in the winter time, it's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna go check just to show you that I didn't bother with terrain paint. The roof's gonna look horrible. I feel like this is gonna be a little bit ugly when there's no snow. Oh, wow. Okay, I mean, it's not that bad. There's definitely potential. If it had like the right roof trim, that's okay actually. Oh, that makes me feel a lot better. I was really worried about that, but I think it's okay even in this summer. You just don't have any terrain paint, so you'd have to add that. But there you go, a Christmassy cottage. If you liked this video, I make a lot of build videos here on my YouTube channel, so feel free to subscribe. Tomorrow, I'm posting a speed build of a penthouse in San Myshuno that I am really, really proud of. So stay tuned for that. And with that being said, I'll catch you all tomorrow, okay? Bye, everybody. Oh my goodness, I've been trying to pre-record a little bit so that I have some videos ready for Christmas and like for when Dan's family comes. I have been making so many. I'm really trying so hard to not miss an upload, but bear with me, okay?